Well, all right, kids. Second coat has gone down. There's a couple of spots that I'm gonna need to patch and then recoat. Not a terrible situation. I didn't even see those till I started putting the stuff down. Um, this is about a gallon and a half. This right in it. Um, it's about a gallon and a half of the stuff. This side's a little bigger, so it took a little more. And yeah, just dumping it out and pushing it with the roller and then, you know, evening the coats out. That was way better than doing it out of the pan. Would not do it any other way moving forward. Do you have a little bit more along the wall over there that I think is going to need some patchwork? I think it's okay. From the outside, we might patch a little on both just to see. I've still got 70 pounds of sand mix there, so that'll go a long way. Might end up being a springtime project, that though. Outside, anyway. So what we got to do now, we wait for this to dry overnight. Tomorrow, I'm going to get the lumber for the new floor ordered. $800-ish to do the floor, the joists for the floor, the subfloor itself, the planking, and the sheeting, excuse me, not the planking. We're not doing planks, we're doing sheets. And then also to frame all the walls in. Once that's done, we got the new fixtures. Might have to finagle some of this a bit. We saw those fixtures in the other video. Somewhere over here. Yep. Got a couple of these. These are what go in the ceiling. Just like that. You nail them in. Lights attached to this. There's a ground screw there. We'll put a ground bar over there. When we get the new breaker box in, our cable has got a ground in it. Ground to the thing, to the thing, to the thing, to the thing, to outside where there's already a bar in the ground. Yeah. And I know there's still some insulation up there. Like I said, I'm not terribly worried about that. It will be fine. The thing I'm worried about is I gotta move all this crap back out so I can work on the floor. And that's gonna take a minute. Some of it's tools, so that's not a big deal. Some of it I'm not too worried about setting. We'll just clean off the patio and set it up over here, but I won't be able to get all of it there. And the other bummer is I might have to stay for a little while. I'm still considering going and grabbing a storage shed just for the, pay for a month, put all my stuff in it, and then turn it back in. I need to call the guy about that tomorrow. See if he's got one ready for me. If so, we'll do that. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here because this stuff's a little hard on the lungs. But yeah, we're good. We're all done. For now. See you tomorrow. People, it is the day. There you go. That took an hour? Jesus. Anyway, behold, lumber. Felix, what are you doing? Sit in the alley and yell? Mama ain't raising no alley cats. You dope. Anyway, let me tell you a little story. Oh God. So this is pressure treated. You can tell it's got all these little holes in it. That's where they inject the pressure. I wanted these in 12 foot. because our shortest wall is 11 foot. So like, well, if I get 8, I have to use an 8 and then cut 3 feet off another one. But if I get a 12, I just cut 1 foot off and then we're golden. Well, they don't have 12s, they have 16s. And they're not the greatest, but I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, so I had to get 16s. The 2x4s that are going to go as our headers, they do have 12s. So that's nice. We'll cut 1 foot off of each, and we're okay. We're good to go there. And then I had to get 56 of these. That one didn't come out very good. And these are 8 foot. Now, if you recall, our wall is like 7'9" from the cement to the ceiling joists. And then we're going to add 5 inches. That's it. If ADD were an animal, ADHD, what are we calling it? Anyway, so had we been able to go right off the floor and not have to build up the floor, I was going to have to cut off 5 inches of each one of these. Now, since we have to build up the floor, we got to do 5. So we got to cut off like almost a foot off of each one of these. Now, I said, I've got 3 little circular saws. I can do that. I don't want to. There's 56 of these sons of bitches. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to buy me a miter saw today. So I go online and I look up miter saws at my 2 favorite places to go shopping for the like. And nobody's got one. Nobody's got one that I want to use. I can either buy like a real crummy little like store brand that concerns me, or I can buy like a $900 Bosch or DeWalt or something. I don't need that, man. I don't do this for a living. I don't need that kind of tool. Good job. So, oh, and the other thing, local lumber store where I got these, they don't have enough of the OSB sheathing in stock for me to actually finish the floor. So they would have to order that for me, which is wonderful. So we're not going to get the floor done as done as I wanted, which sucks. But there he goes. Good job. You get that ground. You get it. It was talking bad about you. I heard it. The earth was like, you dumb. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to order the OSB. I can special order it through the local lumber place. They don't know when they would get it for sure because their deliveries aren't like real consistent this time of year because construction's ramping down, which I understand. That's fine. So I might go ahead and order my OSB online from Lowe's, probably, and get it and the saw delivered at the same time, which the earliest I could have a saw is Wednesday. The earliest I could have the saw I want is Friday. Now, I took a week off to get this project done. I don't want to spend it waiting for a saw to show up and then spend a whole day just cutting those. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do about that. I can tell you what I'm going to do first is, I know we got all this crap in the way. Still, I got to work with this. We got a situation for that sorted out. So what we're going to do first is we're going to frame as much of this wall as we can. We're going to take our 16-foot pressure treat. We're going to cut an 11-foot piece to go from wall to wall. And then we'll measure from there, because that 16-foot piece isn't going to do this whole thing, because this is 22.5 feet. So we'll come out, I think, to about here where the wall was. We'll split one there. We'll split one there. We'll do this half. Okay. And then from there, we can do the walls. And we'll put our headers on up there. And yeah, that's the plan. So step one, excuse me. Oh, the other thing, nobody had the Sealy stuff to put on my lumber, where I'm gonna have to make the cuts. So I've got a little bit of that left, and I was reading up on it, and it should work. So we might just like dip the end in that. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, come on. Tape measure. Now, I'm fairly positive this is 11 feet, because that's what I wrote down. 127 and a half inches. And I rounded it up to 11, just for the sake of easy math. Because we're all about easy math. I got 10 foot, 6.5 inches. Ish. And 10 foot, 6.5 is a lot harder to do the math with than 11. And 11 is really close to 12. And since 12, you do like reverse prices right rules. You get as close as you can with going over when you're doing your lumber. So 12 means I cut off a foot. Easy. 10 and a half means I cut off a foot and a half and a half. Either way, it's a 12-foot piece. You cut it off. So round it up, order off the bigger number. It's yeah. Gives you room for scrapping mistakes. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you need your pills today? Anyway, let's get our second set of sawhorses out to get some power, and we'll start cutting. We won't glue anything down until we've had a chance to dry fit it. And we want to do that because, let me get some of this crap out of here while I'm working. I don't know, I think it's the oil that I couldn't get up off of the floor bleeding through that. Because that's got 2 coats on it, 2 thick coats. So 127 and a half, right? 10 foot, 6 inches and a half an inch. And then from that corner to that line right there is 11 feet. So if I cut this 11 and I cut this 11 and I cut that 11 and I 11, 11, 11, either that one's going to be too long or these are going to be too long. Because if I make this 11 all the way up to that corner and this 11 all the way up to that corner, this is no longer 10 and 6.5 because we've got the width of the wood on either side to take into account. So we'll do this one first, and then I just have to cut this one shorter and this one shorter. Bloop, bloop. Right? Instead of cutting one, it either way, it works out to being okay. The reason I think we'll do it half and half instead of, if I do the full 16, I have to move all of this and some of this, which would not be terrible. I was just hoping to not have to do it quite so soon. I'm still waiting to hear on a storage shed. Still have not heard. I just let me put it in there for a week, man. But nope, nothing. And some of this stuff, that bass amp is very heavy. That guitar amp is very heavy. Those, not too bad. Those, yeah, kind of heavy. That little amp, what is that? Oh, no, never mind. That, I thought that was a bass amp for a minute, but no, I sold that. It's a PA head. Anyway, there's my saw. Here's my power. Let's get to work. Okay, kids. We've got pressure treated down. It's been glued. The two corners, it's a little wonky because of the building, so I've got some of my spare 2x4s up there, just putting a wedge in there to help keep it down while the adhesive sets. We got one header there, one header there. When this is ready, basically when these have all finished doing their thing, we'll come and we'll set the floor joists. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't do the walls until the floor's in. So there's going to be a lot of lumber sitting around out there. I'm going to throw a tarp over it because it might rain later this week. I should probably go and order that OSB. If I can get it here Wednesday, that'll be all right. These walls are terrible, man. They're worse than they look. When you get something's actually straight next to it, you see how bad they are. It's not incredibly bad, since, this is not structural anything. It's just basically putting a gap down there. I'm not terribly worried about it. One thing I did notice, for as much as that, looks like it's really out of level, it's bad in that corner. But that's really close. That's almost dead on. And that, now that I've raised up, that is really close. So I'm not as, I'm less shocked. We'll say it that way. I'm less shocked than I would have been otherwise. So the problem, though, is because this wall kind of does this. It's a convex to this side, concave. From there, this way, it's concave. From here, this way, convex. This doesn't, like, if I get it flush up against the wall there, it's way the hell out over there. And it's already way the hell out over there because the wall. So we're just going to have to deal with that for a bit. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move all this stuff. We'll do our other header going that way. Pull all this out over here. We'll do our line from there over to the corner. And where this one, our short leg is going to be on the outside. This one, our short leg will be on the inside because we'll run this piece, and then we'll fill in the gap there. And I'm not going to do a header there until I can take those out. No real reason. That's just what I decided to do. We might go ahead and take that down when we start moving this stuff. We'll see. I want to move things as little as possible, but some things are just going to have to get moved 2 or 3 times. I need to get that insulation out of my shed. Put a bunch of this. A lot of this can go in my shed. And won't be an issue there, but anyway, I think I'm gonna have me some lunch and order that lumber. Well, unfortunately, I had to order my lumber from Home Depot. I'm not pleased about that, but it's been ordered. Coming out while I was having my lunch, staring at this wall, I thought, it's silly to have 11 and 11.6, so let's split the difference. So here's our dead center, right there, that line. And I thought, okay, I have 2 lights, so we want one in the middle of this half, one in the middle of this half. 11'3" sucks to divide in half. So the half is really like right here. So our light is going to go in the middle of this stud bay there, this joist bay. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll come in 67.5 from that side. And that'll be that. So wrote it on there just so I could see. One thing I forgot to tell you we're going to do a little different is they had all of their floor joists going this way. We're going to do the same, but I'm going to put one in the middle going all the way down just to kind of Oh no, you guys might have found out that I drink. We're gonna do that just to kind of make everything a little more rigid, since the flooring is not actually like attached, and since we're laying it down instead of standing it up. I want it to be a little more less likely to flex, and this way will help because it puts more on the ground. But I'm thinking one right down the middle will be good, and it doesn't have to be a single solid piece. That's fine. Obviously nothing's going to be a single solid piece, but when it comes to places like this where we're going to join them together, I will take a piece of 2x4 like that. We'll cut it in half down the middle because I don't have any 1x1, and we'll screw it together that way. So lunch is almost done. It's like 1:30. Don't give me any shit. Gonna move that pile of stuff. I do need to get that mess, that and that out of there. So somewhere in there, right there. I did go buy a chisel. So we'll chisel that out. We'll put our board in there. I never did get that 220 out of there. I never did get that out of there either. It'll be fine. OSB for the floor should be here tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday. I think everything was going to get here Wednesday, which it's not great. It just means Thursday and Friday are going to be really long days. But that's okay. Because what we can do in the meantime, finish this. We'll get the one in the middle. We can finish the headers going around everything. We can get the boxes for the electrical put in, or the lights, and we can run the wire from the lights over there. We can do all of that. That is not a problem. I needed to check and see, because I've not used the Ace Hardware brand of this stuff before. So I don't know how long it needs to... I'm not actually seeing anything on here that says cure time, etc. Common building materials must be clean. Cut the tip. Blah, blah, blah. Position material to be bonded. For subfloors, apply adhesive to joists for one sheet at a time. Nail screw, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't say. That's odd. Usually they do. I think it's usually between 2 and 4 hours to set up, and then, I don't know, 8 to 12 to cure, something like that. That's still, you can hear it. It ain't bad. I think we can work with that. Okay, so next step. Let's get this stuff over here out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up here on the ladder looking at this screw. This screw right here. That screw is not in the wood all the way because, and I lost it. It's gone. We'll never see it again. Thank God. I mentioned to you guys a couple videos ago, I think, about these DeWalt screw bits. that are terrible. Well, I had two. The first one broke earlier today. The second one broke in that screw. And the way they break, there's a little tiny bit of the head still in there. So you kind of have to poke around and wiggle and this and that and the other. And then you hope that you got it all out. So you can get the other driver. And no, there's still just a little bit in there. Terrible. They're the worst. They're the worst. People laughing at my Black & Decker tools and my Craftsman tools. Well, you know what? I've had Craftsman bits and blades that haven't done that. But every DeWalt bit I've ever had does that exact thing. I think it's actually that one up there that did it. It's one of them over here. Anyway, that side's done. I got some wedges under that door. I need to kind of reevaluate putting some extra pressure on that board to hold it down, but we should be fine. Now, scoot that over. Probably won't move all of it. Just scoot it enough that I can get back there and do the top and bottom. Still don't know about the lights. And I'm reconsidering something. Okay. So here we got those two little lights, right? So big light goes there. Big light's gonna go over 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 5th bay. 2, 3, 4, 5. That bay right there. Well, the middle's right here. I can put my two little lights, like go the middle this way. So 5.5 feet, and then half of that and half of that. So come in 2 1/4, or 2 3/4, excuse me. Put it right about there. Don't know. Thinking about it. Didn't buy enough fittings for all that. Fixtures, but thinking about it. Man, it's hot today. It's like 80. Almost. 75.